and welcome to Encore. I'm Jade Barker. Today we're talking movies, top of the bill. In a world of his own, the high priest of whimsy, Wes Anderson is back with his 8th film, The Grand Budapest Hotel. The quirky director even creates his own country for the ramshackle adventure. Delve with us into a world where solitude and savagery rule. We talk to director Guillaume Vincent about his documentary Land of the Bears and why he decided to make it in 3D. And the story of strong-willed women. We take a look at family drama Auguste Osage County as it hits French cinema screens with Oscar-nominated roles for its leading ladies, Julia Roberts and Meryl Streep. And I'm joined, as always, for our movie show by our cinema critic, Lisa Nesselson. Great to have you with us, Lisa.
Hello there.
And today we have a special treat for you. Also joining us on set is director Guillaume Vincent, the director of that film, Land of the Bears. Thanks so much for coming in to talk to us. We're going to start, though, with the big release of the week and the moment many Wes Anderson fans have been waiting for. The quirky director's latest creation, The Grand Budapest Hotel, hit cinema screens here in France. Lisa, I know you quite liked this film.
Indeed. You know, I don't give star ratings, but hotels go all the way up to 5 stars. So let me just plant that idea in your head. I like this movie a lot. You know, there's a mini trend afoot for movies with chapter headings in which one character is telling a long, elaborate story to another character, and then the bulk of the film is flashbacks illustrating that tale. Well, this is one, and Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac is another, and in talented hands, it's an excellent device because it allows for precision in language. Wes Anderson outdoes himself here. He sucks us into an imaginary country and also into his imagination, and he does not loosen his grip. Let's watch.
Why do you want to be a lobby boy?
Who wouldn't? At the Grand Budapest, sir.
And so my life began. Junior lobby boy in training under the strict command of Monsieur Gustave H. Many of the hotel's most valued and distinguished guests came for him.
I love you.
I love you. She was dynamite in the sack, by the way.
She was 84.
I've had older.
The police are here.
Tell them I'll be right down.
It certainly conjures a lost world, as we just got a glimpse of there. It actually spans several decades in the films, quite a lot for the film to really cover. And he created his own country, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It spans the early 1930s to the late 1960s, and to reflect that, he plays with the size and shape of the screen to match the way movies looked at that time. It's incredibly elaborate, but it is never, ever hard to follow. And I think Wes Anderson may be filling in a bit of the gap that the late Robert Altman had, because actors were so eager to work with him that it was very easy for him to assemble an incredible cast. Here we have 16 glorious established actors and newcomer Tony Revolori, who plays the lobby boy, who most of us would call a bellhop. It's melancholy and bittersweet, but believe me, it's a joy to watch. And I'm not the only one who thinks so, because the jury at the Berlin International Film Festival gave this film a Silver Bear, the Grand Jury Prize, just a few weeks ago. And here are some of the star-studded cast speaking about that at the festival.
I was sent an amazing screenplay written by Wes, which was unlike anything else I'd ever read. And the first time he sent it, you said to me, "What part would you like to play?" That one, please.
Madame D is what I look like when I don't put on all this makeup. I am, you know, very, 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 very old.
We are promised very long hours and low wages.
Well, the film certainly dazzles and delights, as if it's been liberated from the pages of a beautifully illustrated storybook, not too far from the truth. Anderson says his inspiration came from the writings of the late Stefan Zweig.
It comes from Zweig. It's really more or less plagiarism. It's his introduction to Beware of Pity that we have adapted into our film.
All right, just quickly, Vincent, Guillaume, sorry, are you a fan of Wes Anderson films?
Yeah, a lot, especially Life Aquatic. It's kind of a wildlife movie in a way. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about your film now. And it's rather different from Wes Anderson's flick, but it also captures the ethereal and beautiful world. This is not a fantasy world, though. It's a documentary about brown bears set in a remote corner of Siberia. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's absolutely stunning cinematography, as we just saw there. You really get the feeling that you're living with the bears, especially some of those scenes when you're in their dens with them. I've no idea how you managed to get that up close and personal.
The idea was to be in the reality and also not to use any long lenses, only short or middle lenses, so that when the viewer has the impression of being at 2 meters of the bears, that's because we were at 2 meters of the bears. That was the idea, to be in immersion, to be close to them, to live with them, very simply, but very close.
Such a remote and also cold part of the world. Can you tell us more about what the filming was like? You'd get up in the morning, and what was a typical day like?
But the first thing was to get there. So from the main city, there Petropavlovsk, we had to take a chopper, 5-6 hours without anything, any road, any electric device or anything. And then we were dropped. We had to install our camp, and we put an electric fence all around to be quiet in the evening without the bears. They make some intrusion anyway. But the idea was every morning to open that gate, the fence, to pass it, and to be in the world of the bears, and to respect their rules also. And that's also the idea of the film. Yeah.
Did you ever feel that your life was in danger with such wild animals?
No, not at all. Sometimes there was some fear, some danger, but we trust the guys who were with us and knows the bears. And, no. They have some access of violence or things like that, but no aggressivity because they are not hunted there. So, but they know, the only men they know are scientists or guys like us. So they don't fear men, but they know what man is. So they accept us.
This is the first nature documentary shot on location in stereoscopic 3D. So 2 cameras with you at all times. Was it harder than you thought to use that technique?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Not after. We didn't have the conscience really of all the difficulties, and the preparation was very heavy. Until the day before the shooting, we didn't know what to expect, really. And the first day of shooting, then in the evening, we watched the first footages, and it was just fantastic, brilliant, how everything looks like in 3D. So then we were, for all the shooting, we were quite happy. Yes.
Do you think that 3D is something we're going to see in more in documentaries?
It's very valuable in documentaries because it gives a sensation of reality, of all the furs, the stones, everything looks so real. Not hyper realistic, but just so real. But you have to have the good character to do it, because you have to be close, you have to feel the proximity, and it's not with all the animals that you can do it.
Okay, well, the documentary is actually narrated in French by Marion Cotillard. Why did you choose her?
Because I like her. Because I like a lot her voice, the discretion, the softness in the voice she has, and I wanted a woman also, an actress, to do it, because there is kind of cliche. It has to be a man, and the man is the wisdom, the knowledge, and things like that. I don't like that cliche, so I wanted a woman, and I wanted especially Marion Cotillard.
You mentioned there having a female voice narrating the story. To me, the impression that I got when I watched this documentary was that it wasn't just your typical nature picture. It felt more like a story. You know, you kind of got to know the bears as characters. You followed them throughout a year of their lives. Was this intentional, something that you were trying to
of course. There are characters in a way that they are individuals. They are very solitary, also. But there are characters, but we don't give them names, or we don't force the narration. It's just natural, the natural course of life. And in the nature, you have some characters, naturally, and especially that young bear who has to face the world by his own.
Okay, well, we have to leave it there, I'm afraid, but thank you so much, Guillaume Vincent, for coming on the set and talking to us about your documentary. Just a reminder, Terre des Ours, or Land of the Bears, as it's called in English, is out now in France and soon to be released worldwide. Thanks also, of course, to our film critic Lisa Nesselson for joining us, as always. And thank you to you two for tuning in. Just before we go, there's time to mention one last movie. Also out this week in France is Oscar-nominated Auguste Osage County, based on the award-winning play by the same name. The family drama, directed by John Wells, features a star-studded cast and really questions the notion that getting together with your family can be fun. Meryl reigns supreme as the manipulative, monstrous matriarch, and she says many viewers will be able to relate to the dysfunctional family depicted.
We've all been at holiday dinners where grown children come home to the family house where they haven't lived since they were children, and they bring their spouses and their multiple generations, and everyone is very, very well behaved for 2 courses of the meal. And then a little bit of this, and 30 years of resentments come. All
right, we're going to leave you now with a clip from that film. Enjoy, and see you for more movie and culture news soon.
So, I'm curious, you don't eat meat of any kind?
Right. When you eat meat, you ingest an animal's fear.
Ingest what? Its fur?
Fear.
You can't eat fear.
Our kid is trying to deal with this madhouse you dragged her into.
This madhouse is my home.
Yeah, think about that statement for a second.
I have an Indian in my house.
They're called Native Americans, Mom.
They aren't any more native than me.
In fact, they are.
Just call the dinosaurs Native Americans. Whoa!